What if I told you you're not trapped by the facts but by the way you observe them? Strange, uncomfortable, counterintuitive. Still, take a deep breath and notice. What you call destiny might be just an attention habit. They said it was bad luck, karma, a lack of fortune. But what if it's training? Training your perception, like switching to the right channel, with the remote in your hand, and finally hearing the music without static. Today I won't promise a miracle. I'll promise something faster than a miracle. 3 minutes of focus can reorganize an entire day. One well-placed sentence can turn the rudder of a conversation. 3 breaths, and chaos loses its hurry. Controversial. Yes, because reality responds to the observer. It always has. You don't create everything, but you participate in everything you perceive, and the way you perceive directs the probabilities that show up. Maybe you felt this thought in the small coincidences. The message that arrives at the exact moment, the parking spot right at the door, the invitation that appears when you choose to act as who you already are. Today we'll step into the eye of the storm, calmly, unhurried. You'll learn to swap the narrator, choose the lens and stabilize the signal, not to escape life, but to inhabit life from a clearer place. If you're in, I'll show you the map. Short, practical, repeatable, and you'll test it the same days and gather proof today. The invisible lens, why we repeat patterns. So often a person believes they're doing everything the right way. They plan, organize, follow the steps that seem logical, and still, the result insists on being the same. It's as if an invisible force had already written the ending before the effort began. It feels like walking in circles inside your own life, and when they look back, they realize the story has been replaying for years. That's when the invisible lens shows up. That inner narrative that whispers, this never works or it always ends the same. This lens shapes how a person perceives situations and consequently how they act in them. What happens outside matters less. The weight lies in the code running inside, like software that, when projected onto the world, keeps showing the same movie. Imagine an old projector. Inside it, the film reel holds recorded scenes. No matter how many times you turn on the lamp or change the wall, if the reel is the same, the projected image will always be identical. Beliefs, emotions, and patterns work like this. They're the code that gives shape to reality's screen, and until we swap that reel, we keep living the same chapters. There was a striking moment when this became clear. She remembers making a big effort to change jobs, polished resume, rehearsed interviews, forced optimism. Deep down, though, the inner voice already said, they'll pick someone else. And of course, that's exactly what happened. It wasn't bad luck. It was a gaze already trained to expect rejection that set the stage. A simple exercise can create space to see this lens. Just write down the 3 phrases that repeat most in your mind when you think about money, love, and work. Which ones begin with always or never? I never manage to save money. I always fall for the wrong person. Work never recognizes me. These phrases are clues, almost like fogged glasses distorting your vision. From there, the key emerges. It's not bad luck, not life's persecution, not immutable karma. It's training. Training your perception. The more the mind reinforces an old plot, the more it gets used to searching for the same evidence. Like someone who learned to play only one song on the guitar and for years believed the instrument was good only for that. But what if you could tune your attention to other notes? There's a detail almost no one notices. The mind has an attentional doorman. If the doorman receives the script, look for flaws, he blocks good news at the entrance. If he receives, look for signs of progress, he highlights discrete opportunities. That's why 2 gazes can see different worlds in the same room. Not mysticism, focus training. Repeated, gentle, patient. To start retraining this doorman, she created a weekly lens inventory. 3 columns in the notebook. Automatic phrase, evidence against the phrase, new version. Example, I never save money. I saved $20 on Monday. I'm learning to save a little and often. The magic word was yet. I'm not there yet opens a future. It doesn't seal a sentence. 5 minutes per week, and the film reel begins to rewrite scenes. A 60-second visualization, reel swap. She closes her eyes, imagines the old projector, removes the always never reel. She inserts a new one with short chapters of real micro wins from the day, 1 4 2 6 breath, and asks, what scene do I project in the next 10 minutes? When the eyes open, attention is more ready for the next training, the filter of what gets in. The attention filter, training what gets in. There was a day she decided to run a quiet experiment. Today I'm going to see evidence that it's working. Nothing grand, nothing dramatic, just an intimate agreement. In the morning, an old message reopened a forgotten partnership. In the afternoon, an unexpected invitation. At night, the perfect parking spot at the door. She realized she hadn't created things out of thin air. She had simply turned on the flashlight. In the dark, where the light points, the path appears, the rest drops off the radar. The mind works like this. It focuses, selects, cuts, and pastes the lit part. If the flashlight looks for errors, it finds errors. If it looks for signs, it finds signs. The world is vast. Experience is a crop made by focus. From there came a simple practice, labeling evidence. Anything even minimally favorable became proof of alignment. A cordial email, proof. A small yes, proof. A fluid conversation, proof. Labeling trains the brain to recognize trails instead of barriers. It's like marking trees in a forest. It's easier not to lose the path of purpose. She began collecting micro-wins in a notes app. Day's title, Signs that my new phase has already begun. 3 required lines, no excuses. The minimum is enough for training. While writing, she said calmly, this is proof of my alignment. The sentence wasn't magic, it was an attention command with emotional signature. A practical exercise for today, write down 3 micro-evidences before sleeping. It could be someone smiled back, an idea cleared up, a bill balanced better. Write it the way it came, without embellishing. Then read slowly, this is proof of my new phase. Close your eyes for 5 seconds and let the feeling set. In a few days, the mind grows less hungry for catastrophe and more attentive to steps. Not superstition, focus hygiene, like brushing the teeth of perception. The attention filter doesn't deny what's hard, it just doesn't give the chaos a headline. And when chaos shows up, there'll be a simple resource to organize the field. Just remember there's always an eye of the storm available. To refine the filter, she adopted the 1-3-5 attention rule. Morning, 1 clear intention. What do I want to notice today? Throughout the day, 3 quick checks. Is anything confirming my path? At night, 5 lines, micro-proofs, and where the flashlight wavered. Few words, lots of precision. The mind learns with simple repetition. Another useful practice, 2 notebook columns, noise and signal. Anything that drains is noise. Anything that supports is signal, even if tiny. A thank you in an email, signal. A longer wait at the bank. Noise, naming reduces drama and increases direction. You choose who gets the headline. And slowly your inner newspaper starts publishing intentional good news. For turbulent moments, she kept a pocket flashlight, the 30-second pause. 3, 4, 2, 6 cycles, eyes on the horizon, relaxed jaw, loose hands. Soft question, what do I want to illuminate now? It's the shortcut that stops the mind from giving chaos the stage and brings focus back to the essential. And once the pause becomes a habit, the storm's eye is just 1 breath away. Breath that organizes chaos. The quantum pause in daily life. She was about to answer on impulse. Tense voice on the call, sharp words at the tip of her tongue. Then she remembered 3 breaths and a pause. Inhale, hold, exhale, and the body signaled, there's space here. When she spoke, the conversation had changed. Firmness without a fight, clarity without guilt. The quantum pause doesn't change the world outside in a snap. It changes the operator who's looking at the world. It's like cleaning the lens before taking the photo. The scene is the same, but sharpness reveals details that rush makes invisible. When the system slows, discernment finds a path. Think of the eye of a hurricane. Outside it, wind, noise, emotional dust. At the center, operational silence, intelligence in present mode. Breath is the app that brings the mind to that center. 30 seconds in there prevent hours of damage later. 30-second micro-routine. Inhale for 4, pause for 2. Exhale for 6. 3 cycles. While exhaling, ask, which version of me is going to collapse reality now? The reactive fear, or the serene purpose that chooses the next note? Don't fight the impulse, just pass through it with air and intention. Practical daily use. Before sending that message, pause. Do the 3 cycles and only then reread with clean eyes. In meetings, use the pause between question and answer, 2 extra seconds. In traffic, sync your breathing with the rhythm of the lights. At day's end, 3 cycles before reviewing decisions. That changes choices. In a few days, the body remembers the way back to center. Reactivity becomes response, and response becomes direction. You stop being pushed by the weather and start setting the internal climate. And when the old script shows up, there'll be another simple key. A narrator swap, a script break that rewrites the dialogue from within. There's a physiological detail that's a friend to your calm. Longer exhalation pulls the body's brake. Loose jaw, tongue resting on the palate, shoulders 2 centimeters lower. As you exhale, think down, like gently emptying a bottle. The mind understands the body's signals before it understands words. Posture is language. When the body speaks calm, the system translates it all. 90-second practice. Did a strong emotion hit? Start a timer. 3, 4 to 2 to 6 cycles fit within that minute and a half. Let the wave pass. Hands on the ribs, feel them open on the inhale and close on the exhale. Ask softly, what truly needs me in the next 10 minutes? The answer is usually simple, doable, and saves hours of friction. Build environmental triggers. Every doorway becomes a reminder for 1 4 2 6 cycle. Use a gentle alarm at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Return to center. Put a dot, or in your calendar, before difficult conversations. The scheduled pause. Bracelet or ring. Touch it and take a long sigh, your 10-second SOS. Over time, the body finds the center faster than the mind finds the drama. Script break, swapping the inner narrator. She recognized the trigger the instant the criticism came. Chest tightened, throat locked, mind shouted, again, rejection. But this time, something different happened. A half smile, almost secret. Softly, she said, "This is residue from my old self." And, like changing the soundtrack, the inner weather shifted tracks. Swapping the narrator is like using a remote control. No one argues with a channel they don't want to watch. They just change it. The old script dramatizes. I always mess up. The new narrator observes. I noticed a pattern, and I can choose a different response. With one inner click, the scene loses exaggeration and gains honesty. Step 1. Notice the script. Watch for ink words like always and never. Step 2. Disidentify. Whisper, "This isn't me anymore," and take 1 breath. Step 3. Ask, what would my updated self do, say now? Step 4. Micro-coherent act. Adjust posture, soften tone, change 1 small action. Simple on purpose, the brain learns through the small repeated. Practical example. A curt message at work. Old narrator. Fires back in the heat, demands, escalates, hurts the relationship. New narrator. 3 breaths, 1 question, a clear and short sentence. I hear your point. To move forward, what exactly do you need from me? Micro-act, send after rereading, firm tone, no sting. Result, respect. Another example, harsh feedback on a project. Old narrator, takes it personally, feeds the I'm not good enough story. New narrator, okay, useful data, lists 2 improvements and proposes a next step. Micro-act, open calendar and block 30 minutes to fix the critical part. When the tiny action happens, the old script loses the leading role. 60-second practice for today. Pick a real annoyance and run the ritual. Name the old script. 2. Say this isn't me anymore. 3. Ask the updated self. Execute a micro-coherent act now. Posture, tone, phrase, calendar. Repeat whenever the old narrator asks for the stage. And notice how with the right identity, the timeline begins to pull you. A useful tool is giving names to the narrators. Dramatic critic, panicked perfectionist, calm sage. When the name appears, it's easier to say, "Thanks, dramatic, I'll take it from here." This isn't a fight, it's diffusion, seeing thought as thought, not law. With practice, the calm sage steps on stage faster than drama finds a microphone. Create a deck of anchor phrases for quick swaps. Small cards, pocket or wallet. Facts over assumptions. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. One micro act now. When the trigger pops, touch the card, read softly, and adjust posture. 2 minutes of behavioral proof. Send a clear email, drink water, walk 60 steps. The body delivers a new narrative before the mind buys the plot. Establish the Narrator journal. 3 lines every night. Line 1. Old script that tried to take over. Line 2. Updated self-response. Line 3. Micro-act I executed. In a few days, you'll spot repeating patterns and start rewriting them on purpose with kindness and consistency. Identity that pulls the timeline. She decided to run a 7-day test. Act as if she already were the version she wants to embody. No forced theater, just visible micro-coherences. Straighter posture, calendar blocks for focus, cleaner language. On day 3, one conversation opened a door that had been jammed. On day 7, 2 invitations arrived. Looked like luck, but it was identity in motion. The analogy is simple. When someone puts on the team jersey, they play differently. The uniform changes the body, and the body changes behavior. Identity works like that invisible uniform. When she said, "I act as who I already am," her shoulders understood. And the world responded to the signal, like a stadium recognizing its anthem. Daily Protocol Part 1. Decide with certainty on the new version. A short anchor phrase paired with breath. I operate with calm effectiveness, written at the top of the agenda and on bedside paper. Part 2. Act as if, via 1 micro-action per area. Money, relationships, body, each with 1 clear gesture per day. Practical micro-actions. Money. Review your statement and send $10 to savings drama-free. Relationships. Send 1 appreciative message with no need for a reply. Body. 12 minutes of mindful walking, attention on the foot's rhythm. Reading support. The Power of Habit, Duhigg, Atomic Habits, Clear. Daily Protocol Part 3. Cut the old plot. No venting that reinforces the character you're retiring. If temptation comes, write it in a draft and tear it up. Simple ritual, clean mind. Part 4. Expect evidence and name it. Train the gaze to notice the small that confirms the great. 24-hour challenge. Live 1% as who you already are. Pick the most neglected 1% and do it today, start to finish. Don't explain it to anyone. Let the body teach the mind. Repetition lays the track, and the track becomes your favorite path. And when the route threatens to derail, there's a 3 makes 3 routine to hold the signal. To cement identity, she created a future self-evidence board. 3 columns. Micro-action done, sensation in the body, small consequence. E.g., blocked 25 min of focus, open chest, cleared a task stuck for 1 week. The body becomes a compass. When the sensation returns, it signals the jersey is on. No fireworks, just consistency. Identity is a trainable muscle. Environment in your favor. She swapped in visual cues to remember who she is. Water bottles lined on the desk. Body prioritized. Post-it on the monitor. I speak short, clear, kind. A Who I Already Am playlist to start the day. Comfortable yet intentional close. When the setting speaks the same language, behavior doesn't need to shout. 10-minute weekly audit. 3 questions that pull the timeline. What did I actually prove to be this week? Posture, vocabulary, calendar. Where did the old plot still slip through? No guilt, just data. Which one environmental tweak boosts 20% coherence tomorrow? Small levers, big curves. And if the signal wobbles, the 3i3 routine keeps the station tuned. Stabilizing the new signal. The 3e3 routine. There was a day when everything promised to unravel. Woke up late, phone dead, and a stubborn email waiting for a reply. In the past, that became an avalanche. This time, she triggered the checkpoints. 3 minutes, 3 times a day. Curiously, chaos lost its appetite, as if someone turned the volume down. Think of a radio tuner. Turn the dial a bit, the song crackles, turn a little more, the track comes in clear. A new identity needs that fine-tuning, repeated, patient. It's not about force, It's about staying on the channel until it becomes your favorite station. When the tune locks in, even noise becomes part of the arrangement. 3x3 routine, morning 3 minutes. Breathe 4-2-6 for 3 cycles and choose, which timeline do I choose today? Write a simple sentence at the top of the day. I operate with calm effectiveness. Look at your calendar and mark one micro-action that honors this choice. If needed, renegotiate a commitment, coherence before urgency. 3x3 routine, midday, 3 minutes. Stop where you are, desk, car, hallway. 3 breaths, loose neck, lowered shoulders. Say, I return to the self I'm embodying. Look for one piece of evidence confirming the direction, however small. Log it in your notes. Proof of alignment. 3x3 routine, night 3 minutes. Lower lights, screens away, spine gentle as you sit. Ask, what proved my alignment today? Write down 3 specific gratitudes, nothing generic. Finish with a small pact for tomorrow, one viable micro-action, signed with date and time. Behind the scenes, quiet repetition trains the field. 3 daily checkpoints become tracks. The tracks become stability. When a day pulls you backward, you'll have knobs to turn. Breath, phrase, micro-act. And this is where the whole journey ties together. Perception, identity, routine. If you want, we can stitch all this into an intro that hooks the audience from second one. To safeguard the routine, she created coupled triggers. Morning. Right after coffee comes the 3x3, non-negotiable. Midday. First time touching the phone after lunch, 3 breaths. Night. Lights out, notebook in hand, specific gratitudes. Linking practice to existing habits reduces friction and keeps the station tuned. On tight days, use compact mode, 90 seconds. Morning, 1 deep breath. Plus the anchor phrase written on the first line of the agenda. Midday, a presence check. Touch chest, drop shoulders, name 1 evidence. Night, 3 gratitude keywords, no full sentences, just essence. What matters isn't perfection, it's the continuity that educates the field. Sunday 6-line review. Lines 1 to 2. Which micro-actions were easiest to maintain? Lines 3 to 4. Where did the station crackle and why? No guilt, just data. Line 5. 1 environmental tweak to make tomorrow's 3x3 easier. Line 6. 1 gentle reward for consistency. Thus repetition becomes rhythm, and rhythm a stable identity in any weather. Breathe, look around, then look within. Today you learn to adjust the lens, train your attention, and stabilize the signal. Nothing spectacular to hurried eyes, but deeply transformative for those who practice. The life you want begins with micro choices no one sees. Now it's on you. Which old pattern do you retire today? Which micro-act will prove your new identity in the next 24 hours? Who needs a message from you? Clear, simple, drama-free, before the day ends. Write it, do it, log it as proof of alignment. Remember the 3x3 routine. Morning, choose the timeline. Midday, return to the self you're embodying and record 1 evidence. Night, 3 specific gratitudes and a small pact with tomorrow. Silent repetition until it becomes your new normal. If any part of the path feels foggy, return to the 4-2-6 breath. In the eye of the storm, the answer is usually waiting, and when the old narrator insists, you already know, this is residue from my old self. Change the channel. Make the micro-coherent act. Let identity pull the timeline. I want to hear from you. Which micro-evidences have you noticed today? What anchor phrase will you stick at the top of your agenda this week? What honestly have you postponed out of fear and deserves a 1% first step? Comment below. Open up. This conversation also trains your perception. If this content resonated, subscribe and turn on notifications. That way you'll keep receiving simple, applicable, and deeply effective practices. Share it with someone ready to get out of autopilot. And tomorrow, we keep tuning this frequency together.